Hey, you guys, it is Ashley Drummond. Welcome to the Phoenix Rising podcast. If this is the first time you are here, I am always so happy that you are here. It has been a hot minute since I have done an episode, mostly because it has gotten very busy with a lot of different things, which I will update you on in a minute. But I have gotten so many questions from listeners that I wanted to make sure that I responded to all of these and stayed caught up on this. You guys, as always, a lot of you are sending me messages on social media or you're emailing me and talking to me about the different things that resonated with you in each episode and just the different nuggets you get that have helped you. And that really means a lot to me. I was telling somebody this recently that podcasting is so interesting because when I'm talking to a computer. There's nobody that I'm feeding off of. So when you guys give me this feedback, it helps us have a two-way conversation, and it's not just me talking at you, but you guys are letting me know what you're going through or what's working for you. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. One update, I am working on making this a full video podcast. So if you listen to this on audio, you can watch this as a video on YouTube to make it feel more personal. But I am working on figuring out how to make this a full video podcast. So even if you listen to it on a podcast platform, you can still see video, just because I feel like video is so much more connected and it makes you feel like you're part of the conversation and not just hearing something in the background. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I feel like I get to know somebody better when there's actual face to face. Even in phone calls, I prefer either FaceTimes or in person, because there's so much more you can read, connect with when you can actually see somebody. And we're going to talk about some of this a little bit because it came up as one of the questions. But I also feel like right now, this is what people are craving. They're craving real connection. They're craving real conversation. As big as social media has gotten and the digital world, I feel like what everybody, including myself, is craving is just getting back to the basics of remembering that this is a human interaction. You are a human, you are a person with a soul, and I am too. We are not meant to just live behind screens, but with podcasting, I want to do the best I can to make you feel like we are right there next to each other having a conversation. So if you do want to watch this as video, you can check it out on YouTube. There's a link below this on how you can do that. But also, I will be working on getting this set up as a video podcast. So that's one update. The other thing, too, is another update that's going to be happening with this podcast. At least we'll see how this goes. So a lot of y'all liked when I did stuff. Oh, you can see my kitchen in the background. A lot of you guys gave me really good feedback that you loved the format of me being in the kitchen, talking about food, but also talking to you about life and all that. And I loved it too. It was a lot of fun. So the other update that I'm going to be doing is maybe it might turn into once a week, but I think right now I'm going to keep it around once a month. I am going to be bringing on a guest and cooking with them in their kitchen. And it's going to be somebody in the culinary world, very, very successful people in the culinary world, but who are doing extraordinary things, to sit in the kitchen with them while they teach us how to cook up a really fresh, wonderful recipe and dish. And I'm going to spend some time interviewing them, talking to them about their life, because everybody has an incredible story. And I always love hearing the inspiration, especially, some of you might not know this. I'm so passionate about the culinary world that hearing somebody's story who is so deeply connected to the food and where it came from. And for a lot of people, cooking is a form of meditation and mindfulness because you have to be so present and attentive to what you're doing. But a lot of people don't understand the amount of hard work and resiliency and creativity and entrepreneurship that goes into food, wine, farming, all of these things. So I plan to start bringing, like I said, we're going to try this out and see what you guys think. But once a month, just being in the kitchen with somebody from the culinary world and letting you guys get to meet them and hear their story, hopefully with the intention that it helps you have a greater connection to your food. And you see it a lot more as it's not just nutrition, like you're not just eating food for macros and weight loss, but for what food really is, which is it's a source of energy, it's a source of comfort, it's a source of well-being. And the more present you are in and I mean, this goes with everything in your life, the more present you are in your life, including when you're consuming your food, the more attention and awareness you give to that, the better you're going to feel. So that's the other update. So be on the lookout for that. The last update, if you see me looking over to the side, is just because I'm checking out my notepad here that has all the listener questions and the updates that I want to let you guys know. With this, so a couple weeks ago, I hosted a food and wine tasting dinner. And I mean, really all it was just coming up with a 4-course menu with farm to table ingredients, cooking it all up, bringing people together, and then sharing that and getting to know each other in connection. Because like I said, I feel like that's a huge thing that's missing. I may also start doing that regularly of just hosting these different dinners or tastings, just to bring people together. That's it, just to bring people together and have these deep conversations. I did one 2 weeks ago, had a blast. I was posting about it on Instagram, the food we made, and just a great time that we had. If you are interested in being a part of the next one and want to be updated on that, do me a favor, pause this, either wherever you send me messages, if it's on Instagram, if it's some other social media platform, if you normally email me, if you want to be a part of that and you want to know when the next one is for an in-person event, then shoot me a message and just say, hey, I want to be a part of the next one. And I will add you to the list for the date and time of when that's going to happen, along with the location. So like I said, pause the video, send me a message and let me know, and I will include you in that. All right. So let's get into this. So I got some really good questions that a lot of them are very common. Most people ask things like this all the time that we're going to go over. Some of them are about your nutrition. Some are about dealing with loneliness. Some are about exercises, meditation, and all that. So I'm just going to go down the list. Those of you who sent this to me, I really appreciate you asking the questions and giving me the opportunity to answer them. So the first one we're going to dive into is pre and post workout nutrition. I got a message saying, hey, Ashley, I was just wondering, I'm hitting my workouts, I'm doing everything right in that part, but I wasn't sure how important pre and post workout nutrition is. I eat pretty clean generally, but does it really matter about the timing and the quality of what you eat or don't eat before and after your workout? So this is a great question because this happens a lot. I know I did a whole talk on like intermittent fasting and fasted cardio and things like that, but this is very important because almost every single person I've ever worked with, if they have a morning session with me and we're working one-on-one, I always ask, did you eat breakfast? Did you eat something before you came in here? 9 times out of 10, they say no, either because 1, they weren't hungry, or 2, they didn't want to eat something and then work out and their stomach is unsettled. I understand both those things. Here's the problem though. Within an hour before you work out, your body needs a solid source of protein and a solid source of carbs. Why? Well, 1, your body releases stored glycogen that is basically sugar. So you have sugar stored throughout your body based on the carbohydrate intake. That includes not just carbohydrates like bread, oats, potatoes, but also carbohydrates from fruits, vegetables, certain beverages that are high in sugar. Your body converts that and it stores it. These are stored in different cells, but a lot of the glycogen is stored in your muscles. The more muscle mass you have, the more glycogen your body is going to need. So that's part 1. Part 2, the protein part is what makes up the muscle fibers of your muscle. So we have 2 things going on here. Your body needs both. In order for you to exert the right amount of energy throughout your workout, your body has to have fuel in order to do that. If you show up to a workout without anything in your system, I know what you think is going to happen is, well, if I don't eat before I work out, my body's going to use fat to get me through the workout. That's not what happens. What happens when you don't eat before you work out, your body holds on to the food that you've been eating, and instead it releases cortisol. So cortisol is our stress hormone, good and bad stress. You do need cortisol is good to have. It helps regulate blood sugar, it helps with sleep, like it gives us energy. Too much cortisol is when we have issues with anxiety, depression, sleep issues, and we're storing extra fat around our belly. So when you don't eat before you work out, your body will hold on to extra fat as storage, and it will instead release excess cortisol to give you energy. So this is why you feel fine and you're like, well, I'm not hungry, I have plenty of energy. It's because cortisol is being released instead of glycogen or fuel that should be coming from food. It's not a good thing because higher levels of cortisol, like I said, are going to cause your body to store more fat. So before you eat, you don't, okay, so you don't want to do this like 20 minutes before you eat. I don't recommend that because when you eat something, your body releases all the blood to your stomach to digest the food. So if you eat something 20 minutes before you work out, what's going to happen is all the blood is going to rush to your stomach to digest that instead of the blood rushing to your muscles to give you energy. So you want to do it about an hour to 2 hours before. So if you're working out at 9, you want to eat something around 7:30 to give your body time to digest it. So that way, when you work out, you have plenty of energy, but also your body's going to have blood flow throughout the entire system. That's pre-workout. It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to eat like a 600-700 calorie meal, but you do need a good source of protein and a good source of complex carbohydrates. So that's pre-workout. Post-workout, it's pretty much the same. That's what I tell people. Like, you should have some sort of meal, and then you need to have a post-workout meal. Now, both men and women, within 20 to 30 minutes after you work out, you need a lean source of whey protein. Guys, you're going to aim for like 30 to 40 grams. Women, you're going to aim for like 20 to 30 grams. The reason being is because when you work out, you are tearing your muscle fibers. When you consume whey, the amino acids, the amino acids with, why can't I say that? Amino acids, which are the building blocks of our muscles and the building blocks of our protein, those amino acids will go straight to your muscle fibers after a workout and immediately begin on the repair and the recovery process, which is what you want. That's how you build lean muscle. Your carbohydrates, you have about an hour and a half to 2 hours post workout that you need to consume carbs. Now, everybody's a little bit different, but I will say the general rule of thumb is you have about 2 hours to replace the lost glycogen that your body used to get you through your workout. Everybody thinks if I do pre and post workout nutrition like that, I'm not going to ever lose weight. I promise you will, because you're going to keep your cortisol in check. You're going to keep your blood sugar in check. It's not the pre and post workout nutrition that makes people overweight. It's what you're eating the rest of the day. I can tell you right now, if you eat 20 to 30 grams of whey protein after a workout and then 2 hours later or an hour later, you refuel your carbohydrate intake with 20 to 30 grams of carbs, those pre and post workout meals are not going to put weight on you. Trust me, it's something else that you're doing. So that's the pre and post workout nutrition. Your body needs this. If you are not hungry before you go work out, part of the problem with this too is it's not our bodies. I always say this, our bodies are very intuitive. If you eat 800 calories a day, your body will slow down your metabolism to make sure it does not burn too much so that you don't run out of energy for your overall like heart health, brain health, organ health, and all that. So extreme calorie cutting will work in the beginning. And then what's going to happen is you're going to plateau, you're going to store belly fat, and you're not going to progress at all. So even though it's tempting because you get fast results, long term, you're going to be very frustrated. So when you're not hungry in the morning, it's usually because your metabolism has not picked up to the new caloric intake, and you have to reset that. You have to train your body. Hey, I'm going to give you food within 30, 40, 45 minutes of waking up so you can burn through the calories instead of storing extra fat. It takes time. So just to recap, pre-workout within an hour to, an hour to 2 hours before you work out. Eat something that's got a good protein amount and a good complex carbohydrate amount. After you work out, within 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, you need to recover with a whey protein, not casein. Casein is slow digestion. Whey will hit your muscle fibers really fast. And then within 2 hours, you need complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are oats, an unripe banana, unripe, not ripe, unripe. Excuse me. Unripe has less sugar in it. Unripe banana, sweet potato, brown rice. These are all complex carbohydrates. Okay. It's very important. Trust me, not only will you see your body change a lot faster, you'll also notice you have more energy and you recover faster with your workouts. Your body will thank you. So that's the first question. Ooh, this one. Okay. Let me take a sip of my water for a second. This next one, dealing with loneliness. Okay, so this is kind of a two-parter. This person sent in a message and said, "Hey, Ashley, I really love the podcast and everything that you're doing. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about dealing with loneliness for a lot of different things. Number one, I'm changing a lot of my lifestyle habits to be healthier and to put myself first. And I'm starting to notice that some of the friends that I used to hang out with, I don't really enjoy hanging out with them anymore." Makes sense. Happens to all of us. So I'm feeling a little bit lonely, not wanting to hang out with the people I used to hang out with, but not really knowing like how to get over this loneliness with my new habits. The second part of this though, too, is does everybody generally struggle with loneliness or is it just me? Let's talk all about this. Okay, so part one. First off, thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Part one, dealing with loneliness when you are making lifestyle habits and changes and the people that you normally hang out with are not following that path with you. This, I've talked about this a lot. This is the hardest part of making change in anything. And this is what keeps a lot of people from making change is because they know they're probably going to lose a lot of the friends in the process. And you are in a place of being, I don't like, it's not necessarily like you're alone. I call it transition. You're always in transition. There's never a time where like you're just gonna like have like no, I have nobody. I think of it like a pendulum swinging. Like sometimes before you swing to the other side where you're surrounded by new people, the pendulum's just on its way in that direction and you're kind of in the transition of it. So what I'll say with that is it's very, very common and very, very normal when you are making new lifestyle changes and habits and choices that you do lose a lot of people. And this is what nobody talks about. Nobody talks about adulthood, that your friends don't stick around forever, that relationships sometimes, love, romantic relationships sometimes don't last forever. Even family relationships sometimes go through weird periods where they don't exist. Nobody teaches you that in school. So when we're adults and we go through these different transitions in life, we either feel like something's wrong with us or we're doing something wrong and we're the only person in the world that's struggling with this. So with that first part of the question, everybody deals with this. It happens when people switch jobs and change their career. It happens in entrepreneurship a ton. And you're going from like being an employee to finding like new people who are entrepreneurs. Happens when people stop going out and drinking all the time and instead they're at the gym and they're taking care of their health and fitness. So a mindset shift you can make is just seeing it as I'm just in transition. I know I will find new people and new people will find me. So for right now, I'm just going to honor this space and just let it be, knowing that this will pass and new things will come along. So that's the first part. The second part of it is, am I the only one who struggles with loneliness? Absolutely not. I am convinced that every human being on this planet at some level struggles with loneliness. Even the people, even if you have tons of friends, even if you're in a relationship, even if your social calendar is booming, there is still a level of loneliness that I think everybody feels. It's just most people are not willing to be vulnerable enough to talk about it. So no, you're not the only one who struggles with loneliness. I've struggled with loneliness plenty of times. And I can't remember, I think it was Louise Hay. I think it was her. And I think it's her book, The Power is Within You, or she's got so many books. It's one of those books. But she uses a really great analogy of just talking about how really the only person that we start this life with and end our life with is ourselves. at your birth and at your deathbed. The only one who is going to experience all of the experiences with you is you. So when you're going through periods of loneliness, and usually what I find if I'm feeling lonely, or what I've noticed with other people when they're feeling lonely, it's not necessarily that you're lonely, perhaps. It's that you're feeling disconnected. And most of the time, it's not other people that you're disconnected to, it's disconnecting from yourself. So you're putting a lot of energy out instead of taking that energy within. So when you have those moments, some great things that you can do while you're in transition or struggling with loneliness is spend some time out in nature. Nature is super healing and comforting. Spend some time with animals. Spend time like this, listening to a podcast, trying out a lot of different things, but most importantly, just learning to connect and spend time with yourself in those times. Because if you don't do that, and instead, if every time you're feeling lonely, you're trying to escape that feeling, you are like, well, let me just go hang out with anybody to avoid feeling lonely. Even if you go do that and hang out with people, you're still going to be there feeling alone. It's the feeling when you're in like a crowded room, but you feel like you're by yourself. That's not something that you can get externally. You have to first be able to give that to yourself. So loneliness is one of those feelings like anything else, like grief or sadness. It's uncomfortable. Nobody likes it. But if you will lean into it and sit with it and see what it's trying to teach you, or see what the need is behind that, it'll pass a lot faster, and you're going to equip yourself with a lot of tools that'll carry you throughout a lot of ups and downs in life. So as hard as it is to sometimes sit with that, especially it's when people feel alone in the loneliness. So I will repeat it and say that you are not alone in feeling that way. Tons of people feel that way, but when you do your best to not run from it. Just kind of sit with yourself, fully be present with that feeling, see what it's trying to tell you or teach you, or maybe it just needs you to be present with it, and then it'll pass. So that's what I'll say about that. There's a lot of other podcasts I've done. There's the one I did about being your own best friend and the importance in that kind of connects to this as well, if you haven't listened to that one. Okay, so next question I got. Hey, Ashley, I'm just wondering, what exactly are you doing for your back and your arm exercises? Because I do back day and I do arm day, but I don't feel like I have as much definition as you do. Do you have any recommendations for your top favorite back and arm exercises that I can start to implement in my routine? That's very kind. Thank you for the kind words. I'm going to answer this with the same thing that I tell everybody. I actually was just telling somebody this in the gym who asked a very similar question. I don't do isolated back and arm days. I don't do it because, well, I do exercises that work on those things, but you are never going to hear me or see me in the gym like, oh, I'm here working on bis and tris. Like, that's not going to happen. The reason I don't do that is because most of the workouts, and this is the same thing when I write the workout programming for my clients, or if I'm doing a in-person session with them, it's the same thing. If you will do compound movements instead of isolated movements, not only are you going to get more bang for your buck, meaning you're going to work more muscle groups at once, you're also going to see transformation a lot faster. So something like back and arms, I'm not going to go do bicep curls and then some other like isolated back exercise. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are great exercises if that's where you're at. Instead, I'm probably going to do something like pull-ups, because pull-ups are your entire back, and it's working your biceps, and it's working your core and your stabilizer muscles. Or I'm going to do something like cleans, snatches, devil press, trying to think of like what a kettlebell swings, like those are compound movements. And the reason being is because you're going to get stronger a lot faster because more muscle groups are having to be recruited. But with those movements, you are working your major muscle groups. So biceps and triceps are small muscle groups. They're secondary. Your biceps and triceps were not created, along with like your calves and any other small muscle group. Those muscle groups are secondary. If you think of it, you have your large muscle groups that are meant to carry and do most of the workload. And then you have your secondary ones that kind of kick in just as like extra support. So instead of spending your time on the smaller muscle groups, if you will focus on doing exercises that are compound on your larger muscle groups, those secondary ones are naturally going to get worked. The only time I recommend doing like isolated things like that is when you are working on correcting a muscular imbalance. Sometimes you have to do that if it's a muscular imbalance, but for general overall strength, conditioning, fat loss, do deadlifts, do pull-ups, do push-ups, do squats, do cleans, do overhead press, do lunges, do overhead lunges, do burpee box jumps. Like think of things that you have to use your entire body to do. That would be my biggest recommendation. So best back and arm exercises, any of the things that I just said. You're going to use your back in every single one of those exercises for sure. I do that a lot, honestly. Like that's it. So hopefully that helps answer your question. If not, and you have more questions about that, you can shoot me a message. Okay, we have two more. Oh, this one is good because this comes up all the time. Hey, Ashley, I know you're super into mindset and meditation. Loving the podcast. Everything you talk about, sometimes I have to pause it and rewind it just to hear it again because it really hits home. I'm kind of struggling with really understanding, though, what the point of meditation is. I know it's important, but I don't understand why it's important. This is a great question. And so many of my clients have said this because part of what we do is we do nutrition and we also do mindset stuff. And every single time they're like, I'm doing the workouts, I'm doing the nutrition. I'm kind of slacking on the mindfulness stuff because I don't really get it. Man, how do I break this down to help you understand the importance of it? So we'll break down the benefits. First of all, when you meditate, you take your brain and your body out of fight or flight. So fight or flight is that anxiety, it's fear, it's adrenaline, it's cortisol, it's stress, it's all those things. When you meditate, 4-second inhales, 8-second outhales, exhales, and you're doing them nice and slow, your central nervous system literally deregulates or downregulates, bringing you out of fight or flight and putting you right here at the present moment. It only takes like 5 minutes of breathing that way that your entire system will calm down. Why is it important to get your system to calm down? Number one, you can think more clearly. You can think more clearly. You can think more highly. You're raising your energetic vibration and thought processes so that you can think. So if you have a problem and you're stressing and stressing and stressing and trying to figure out the answer to this problem, you are not going to get to the solution with that state of mind. You have to come to yourself, breathe, get in an energetic place that you are calm, relaxed, and open to the answer. You're raising your thinking process to be able to find the solution. There's a famous saying that says you cannot find the answer from the same mind that is thinking about the problem. And it's true because it's two different wavelengths, two different levels. So meditation does that first. It naturally raises your vibration, lowers and downregulates your central nervous system and stress response so that you can get grounded, you can come back to yourself, and you can be in a place of really like, okay, now let me think clearly instead of like being frenzied. So there's that benefit to it. The other benefit to it is meditation actually boosts your immune system because of what I just explained with down regulating the stress response, lowering cortisol, getting you out of fight or flight. What it does is it calms your entire body. When you calm things and everything's not like crazy frenzy, everything can do its job better. So if you ever get sick, go meditate because the more calm and relaxed you are, the stronger the internal processes in your body can work. The more you stress, the harder it is for your body to do its job because you're using all that energy to worry and stress. So there's that part. Another thing, I was just telling somebody this recently. If you are a sensitive person, like I am, like a lot of people are, it is very important that you clear your mind and you clear your energetic space. What does that mean? Well, if you have a dish sponge and you're washing your dishes and washing your dishes and washing your dishes, and you never clean the sponge, the dishes you're washing aren't really going to be that clean anymore. You're basically rubbing dirt on dirt. If you are a sensitive person, you kind of work the same way. So it's important that if you're absorbing other people's crap, other people's baggage, other people's emotions, other people's venting and complaining and drama and lack and negative mindset and all these things. If you're sensitive and you're feeling all this and it overwhelms you and you just are struggling to get past that, you have to clean and clear your energy so that you don't become that. And instead, it can just like, boop. Especially if you do things like this, if you are a coach or if you're a leader or you're in a position where you're having to manage people or whatever, you are constantly taking these things on. So meditation helps rebalance and clear your energy so that all that stuff stays out here and everything that is truly your energy stays in here. How do you know? This part is kind of hard to explain because the question that comes up then is how do you know if you're absorbing other people's energy? Well, everybody's doing it all the time. Most people just aren't aware of it, but it's very simple. Pay attention to how you feel when you're around someone. I don't care, anybody. Do you walk away feeling like you got a little pep in your step, you're feeling bubbly? Or do you walk away and you're like, God, like that conversation was so draining? You're picking up on energy. It's just you're learning like which energies feel good and which energies feel bad. The problem is if you keep feeling all the other stuff, the stress, like people who are always stressing, people always watching the news, all these things, and you're not doing anything to come back to yourself so that you don't attach and become a part of all those things, then you're going to get overwhelmed and stressed and feel like you're losing your mind and all those things. So meditation is a great way to rebalance your energy, to come back to like, it's how you connect to like your truth. So if I get off the phone with, say, if I'm stressed out about something, like great example of this, you can't see him, he's behind me. My little guy Bear, last week, oh my God, I was stressing so bad. Last week he hurt his hip. Long story short, when he hurt his hip, I had to give him some medicine to help with the pain. The medicine ended up tearing up his stomach. The whole thing for the week was just stressful because he's in pain. He's got diarrhea, is miserable, can't rest. And I'm stressing because I don't want to see him in pain and I'm trying to help him, but I don't know what to do. And all this stuff is going on. Those days, I meditated more on those days than I normally would because when stuff like that happens, I'm constantly in a state of stress. I can't be the calm dog mom to him that needs to think rationally, think clearly, be able to do what he needs to do, keep him calm if I'm not doing those things. So instead, and it's the same thing with parents, it's the same thing if you have a stressful job. So instead, when I would feel myself getting stressed and worked out, I would literally just, I mean, even right here, I could sit right here, I would just sit here, 4 inhales, 8 exhales to come back to like right here, present moment, not the future where I'm freaking out if he's ever going to get better, not the past when he was sick yesterday, but like right here, this moment, this present moment, and coming back to myself. That's what meditation does. Nobody ever understands why meditation is important when things are good. It's like, oh, things are great. Like my friends are great. Life is good. I feel good. Why do I need to meditate? It's when shit hits the fan and life gets ripped out from underneath you and you're totally clueless. Where are you going to find your grounding? What are you going to grab onto? You don't want to grab on other people. You don't want to grab onto the news. So where are you going to find that peace of mind to think clearly, to hear your intuition and your guidance, and to know like everything's okay. I'm going to get through this. I don't know how. I don't have all the answers. But what I do know is I'm right here. I'm not in the future. I'm not in the past. I'm right here, trusting. That's why meditation is important. The last part of why meditation is important, other than like cleaning your energy, down regulating your central nervous system, it's also the place that you connect to your inner guidance and your intuition. So if you're trying to figure out something or you're not sure what to do in a situation, or like, do I keep my job, change my job, keep my relationship, change my relationship, live here, should I move, should I rent, should I buy a house, should I keep my car, should I lease one? Like when you don't know what to do, if you will get in the habit, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, I feel like the more you meditate and you see how much better you feel, the more you want to do it. But if you can just start with 5 and 5, that's the only way you're going to hear your intuition is by coming right here to the present moment, sitting with yourself, getting really quiet, getting really still, going with it. So that's the other benefit is it's like having the key to all the answers that you need. Instead of looking outside of yourself for them, you're constantly bringing it back to yourself. You have all the answers inside of you. You have everything you need to know inside of you. When we aren't ready for the answers that are inside of us and the truth that's inside of us, we usually go look for it externally because we know if we spend time with ourselves, we might discover answers that we don't want. So we'll waste our time and we'll waste our energy. Meditation doesn't work. Mindfulness doesn't work. Like, I need to do this. I need a new coach. I need a new nutrition program. I need a new job. I need this. I need that. It's because deep down, you know, none of that is real, but you're not ready to face the truth of what's inside. When you get to the place of having a regular meditation practice, the truth is right there, ready to meet you if you'll just sit with it. So that's the other part too, is that's your guidance. That's your intuition to guide you through life. That's the benefit of meditation. Hopefully that helps. Last question that I got was about impermanence. Hey, Ashley, I listened to one of the podcasts you did on impermanence. It's the first time I've ever heard that word. And I'm really thinking about it, how things always change or situations always change and people always change. So then my question is, do we just have no expectations on life or with people if we know that it's always going to change? Because if so, isn't that kind of sad? I understand this question because the first time I kind of pondered this too, of like everything's going to change and like truly accepting like your friendships are going to end one day. Your relationship's going to end one day. Your body is going to age. Things are going to change and there is nothing you can do to stop it. This is life. The only 100% truth that you have in life is that things will change. When you first accept this truth, it is a little sad. It is a little sad because you don't want things to change. If things are really good, you're like, but I don't want to lose this relationship. I don't want to lose what I'm doing. I don't want to lose my health or my body or money or friends or whatever it is that you're attaching to. But if you shift your mindset and perspective on this, and instead of seeing it that way, you see it as, I know that this is all going to change. So instead of worrying about the future or living in the past, I'm going to appreciate what this is for right now, knowing that I have no idea how long it's going to stick around. It actually, I feel, with that mindset of impermanence and change, it's not that, because this person's asking about, like, do you just not have any expectations about life? It's not necessarily that you don't have any expectations about people or life. You just don't attach your emotional well-being to them. You're still going to have, I mean, if you have a best friend, if you have an employer, you're going to have expectations with those people because of the titles that those things hold. But it's also understanding that things are going to change and expectations will change. And when they do change, just accept it. Don't try and hang on to it. I think that that's one of the hardest things is, one, acknowledging the truth that we really don't have as much control. We have a certain level of control, which is based on how we react and how we carry ourselves through life and the mindset that we carry ourselves through life. But we don't really get the final say in how things turn out. You can want something all you want, but doesn't mean that's going to happen. You can think you have an amazing situation, but there's more people involved. There's more things involved. So this question is so challenging because I get it. Like, I get it. Like, so do I just have no expectations? I think it's allowing the space of, okay, well, I accept this as it is right now, but I'm not going to attach or force things or try to control things to remain this way. So if my expectations, because this person's asking about people, if you have expectations of people and people meet those expectations until they don't, when they don't, it is what it is. It's just you accepting the impermanence of the relationship or accepting the fact that, like, okay, things change, people change. And if you can no longer be this person for me, or this job can no longer give me this fulfillment, then that's okay. It's nobody's fault. It's just it ran its course. It's actually a very liberating place to be because you're more in flow with people and you're more in flow with life, and you're giving people the freedom and space to continually change and be who they need to be instead of requiring them to remain the same they've always been. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. It's letting go of control. It's letting go of control of people. It's letting go of control of situations and accepting and allow things, excuse me, man, accepting and allowing things to be as they need to be and not as you need them to be. But this goes back to the other question with dealing with loneliness. And the only reason we ever attach expectations to people or feeling entitled to certain things in life is more so out of a fear and insecurity of like not wanting to be alone or not dealing with things alone. When you continually give connection to yourself, it's a lot easier to just keep your hands open and allow things to come and go as they need to. But I mean, the bottom line truth in life is what is meant for you is going to find you. You can't lose it. So if you let go of control and you let go of your expectations and instead you just show up and you're present and you're yourself, whatever is meant for you will find you. Whatever is best for you is what's going to happen. So just trust that. Hopefully that answers the question. All right. Those are all the questions that I got. That was a lot. We covered a lot. But I really do appreciate you guys sending these in. I really appreciate the feedback you guys give me. Like I said, it makes me feel more like we're having a two-way conversation and I'm not just talking at you. So thank you for that. Like I said at the very beginning, I will be working on turning this into a full video podcast. But also, if you want to be part of the next in-person event, then just send me a message on however you communicate with me and I will add you to the list. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in and letting me come into your day, and be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Phoenix Rising podcast. Bye.